Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Croatia, in which, in this past episode before this one, we have expanded it into North Africa, to be exact, Croatian Maghreb, as you can see down here, in which they are not states, but rather they are territories. Territories, which is a to the home to the Barbary Coast Charter. In other words, the Croatian Barbary Coast Company. That's what this is a home of, even though I could add all eligible provinces to the trade company, but I've only added a select few, such as one here in Tripoli, another in Djerba. I plan on adding two more of these because it's home of the sugar there, and one in Tunis itself, the most developed territory of the region. Even though we did develop a bit of it, but that was just to build a world port and all that. But of course we're in the middle of a war which we did not get involved, which is between the Tuscany friends, including Spain, and the Papal States and all that, and the Spanish colonies, against Savoy, Lorraine, and we did not get involved, except for any action that tries to, enter our way and head to there, like in Krim and Tinovo, in Bulgaria and Crimea respectively. Which, well, we fended them off, and we fended them off greatly. We were originally going to live in peace, and let's continue to invest in the company. What? We just had to get rid of some bothersome, troublesome enemies of ours that would impede our progress a little. And what progress, you say? And I would say for the 1700s, I don't know if you heard that notification, but that was my Facebook notification because of some friend that's talking to me. But still, I'll have that turned off in just a second and put my phone on silence if I wish to speak to somebody. And by the way, that somebody, and I'm not going to name names here, is a fan of my videos, including EU for Croatia. So, just a second. Okay, never mind then. The recording did not pick up that Facebook Messenger notification, and all that. And by the way, I'm not going to give you what is my account because, the difference between me and the Lord Master are two separate characters. The things I do or say on videos does not reflect who I am in real life. Keep that well in mind for you viewers. But anyways, let's get down to some business. The trading business, I would say. Well, as far as trade company investments concerned, we've already fully upgraded the harbor, which is, company depot to be exact, and the entire same area increases local production efficiency. And I plan on adding, some more Croatian districts. And even go as far for the entire same region compared to the same area, but for the entire region of Tunisia, and that includes parts of Libya too, I would likely go for a Croatian township because of the trade value modifier up. Not interested in more naval force limit, nor land, nor steering because, or even marines. And which kind of makes you wonder, well, what do you mean by that? Listen, there's only one way that enters into Tunis, and that's down there, so there's no need for steering. Although, interestingly, we do have a 13% trade power of Croatia over there. And Kanem-Bornu is 14. Which means if we can get down there and control most of that trade down there, think of the value it would bring. Even though Netherlands is a weak influence there. And that is the reason why in the 1700s, besides to dominate a few trade nodes, but I am also willing to colonize a little. Even though we are latecomers in the colonial game, but it's for an entirely different reason. The current level is 24, so later in the 1700s, we plan on, getting this idea. Expansion idea, which not only adds one colonist But also I'd like to have another merchant because we'd like to continue to enrich ourselves. And the global settler chance increase because it'll be easier to settle here and here, fight against Kanembornu, and then we turn eastward and colonize through there, and we would be meeting these African countries and try to expand all the way to the Horn of Africa. And it's doubtful, but may never know, that we could go to India and form a Croatian East Indian Trading Company because of one of these decisions here. Found Indian Trade Company. Have a port province in India, China, Japan, or the East Indies. Quite honestly, all that free real estate is taken. Although there are some independent ones, but still. And plus the problem if you were to go to India, look at who Vijayanagar is allied with. Malwa. And Jaunpur doesn't like both. So yes, Muslims and Hindus are working together. Try invading them and you will be crushed. So that's probably the reason why nobody's touched India. And maybe the East Indies is a better option. Because of these smaller entities. Except for maybe Brunei, which they pack quite a punch. Really, you've been improving relations with us? But we barely know each other. Tempting. And yet, you say you want to dominate most of the trade nodes, but the one thing you cannot dominate is Alexandria and Aleppo trade nodes, because they're both controlled by the Mamluks, which has the largest army in the world as far as I know. Well, let me bring up the statistics here real quick. We have the 10th largest army, which we plan on growing the size of our land army sooner or later, because of this great income that we're making, but not right now, because I plan on investing it more towards production. We have the largest navy, 4th most provinces, 3rd highest province value, 4th highest income, and we have 2nd highest trade income. 2nd highest, you say? Or who would that be? Mamluks. Well, there's your problem. We're almost in the lead of trade. And the Mamluks makes most of their money through production as well, which I assume they got a lot of workshops and manufactories and all that. And so therefore that puts them at the very top of the most total income. And we're still behind, you know, the Commonwealth. Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. And so that is why I decided to invest in a trade company. In fact, to make this better, since these two provinces here produce sugar, which I don't think sugar is native anywhere in Europe as far as I'm concerned. When I look at all these places. Obviously sugar doesn't grow further north. What else? It doesn't grow in Italy, nor in Greece that we control. Not in Anatolia either. So yeah, there is no sugar in Europe, and we have a bit of sugar. Which obviously I believe you can find more of those over in America. Which is apparently full of tobacco with some cotton. Others still unknown. Lots of tobacco and there's a bit of fur there. But here's the problem. If we want to colonize America, it's claimed by Spain. If you try to settle there, you will upset both the relations of Spain and the Papal States, and make it harder for us to attract settlers. Well, here's your problem. Spain is our enemy. Well, Spain is our enemy, and so is the Mamluks, who are enemies of Spain. And we don't have the power to take on Spain and their colonies. It would be very, very devastating for us. Not to mention we're briefly allies in this war that'll soon be over, this nationalist war. I mean, obviously we do not have the range. So, our colonial range is this, and base high from technology. Actually, we do have the range to colonize, but the problem is, it's not only this province too far away, cannot be reached via any ports connected to the capital, no colonists descend, native policy, and all that. Well, what if we just outright invade them? I mean, that's what the imperialism Casus Belli is for. Nobody's coming, obviously, because it's the distance, but we do have the military means to defeat the natives. But the only problem between, it's the distance. I mean, one, you set off from Bizerte or Tunis through Cape Bon, go through there, and you take a long haul to there, which these areas here are the most likely ideal areas. Keeping the distance from Florida. Yes, Florida. Spanish Florida. Spanish colony. Transfer treatment is a colony, but not yet have the desire for freedom. Heck, if I were to ever come to America, obviously they're still going to be loyal to Spain, but that depends on one thing and one thing only. And obviously not going to Texas. Louisiana is rather tempting, but again, land's taken, colonized, and all that. Again, some of these countries are a bit more advanced than others. Again, stupid idea of how to send an expeditionary force, a Croatian expeditionary force, as a way of not exactly colonizing America, because the cultures and religions are still going to be there. Well, obviously. And of course, changing the culture is another thing, but speaking of which, before we get down to trade company business, one last thing, I promise. There's a new institution, Enlightenment. It originated from Rome. When you embrace it, culture conversion costs less. Which kind of gives me an idea about this colonial idea. Since you want to go for expansion ideas. In fact, you would have 2 colonists, so our chance increase. Minimum autonomy territories when complete. And all this that could be used in future. But again, I'm still taking the African idea. Because you could form trade companies there. You can't form trade companies in America. Can it? No, doesn't say. Yeah, you can form it in Africa, Asia, and to some degree Europe. But not the New World. You cannot form trade companies in the New World. That's what settling for new lands is for. Obviously the French have the entire north. And Portugal has reached as far as what appears to be, yeah, Oregon. So it kind of gives you an idea of who owns what. And look, Norway is still around. Really? An area that is much closer distance-wise. Well, or is it similar distance? If you try to fight them, it's like, hey, we'll be next to Brazil and Brazil. And then people will be mad at me just for us being there. Obviously, you know, Spain is an enemy to us. English Columbia. This one's not taken, but again, too far away. Haiti is a pirate kingdom. West Indies. Yes, the West Indies, which is of what culture? American. And Haiti, American. American pirates. One of which is allied with England. And West Indies, which I would assume by its name, was formerly an English colony, turned American. And, in other words, it's like, well, here's your way in for imperialism. And these guys have no ships. Taking over the West Indies, which is in that part of Cuba. Oh, actually they also own this, so they are indeed the Pirates of the Caribbean. And their capital is here. Yeah, if we ever fight an imperialist war, which we do have the navy and the power to take them on, and maybe we can use that as a jumping off point to get up there ultimately. Plus they belong to this church, and then we're Catholic, so therefore we won't get penalties for it. Again, just an idea. Nobody can come with me, but we do have the transport ships, we do have the army to take them on easily. After all, they're a pirate kingdom, which is supposed to be a republic, but they chose Pirate King down there. But oddly, they chose to reinforce Republican values and all that. I mean, we are a republic, but we are not a pirate republic. We cannot be, in fact, because of where we're based from. But still, it's just an idea. It's kind of too far away to think about it right now. But I wouldn't pose to the idea. Again, easier distance, and won't take much attrition out at sea. Or the alternative is to go for imperialist war to control this area, and there's only one ally. Man, so many potential areas to take, but this area is full of slaves as a trade good. You know, the transatlantic slave trade, which was prominent back then. But I wouldn't turn into a state. That would be another trade company. This is part of the Ivory Coast trade node. But look, I mean, besides the local trade strengthened, but Senegal, sorry. The trade power is there. But it's currently under attack by fetishist zealots because the guys who rule there are Sunni Muslims. And I do have a reconquest spell against Mali. Which Mali is a bit of a big one. But I know we wasted a lot of time on here talking about where can we expand? How can we enrich Croatia further? Knowing that we'll be getting another merchant in the future when I go for expansion ideas. As I said, we'll be latecomers of the colonial game, but who controls the Ivory Coast trade node? Netherlands appears to be, yep. Netherlands. Where, I mean, obviously we do not have the range to send a merchant into there. Yeah, we have to be in range. In other words, well, okay, so maybe we should take a couple of steps here. We have the Croatian Maghreb, and we'll eventually expand further south into the desert as we build a spy network there. Colonize through there and there. Invade this area. Use that as a jumping off point to get to the West Indies. Control as much as we can. And then we're in America, which I'd rather take Manhattan. Croatian Manhattan. Hudson is there for more trade power. And since they also control this area, because it's home of the Delawares. And that there too. Again, I'm surprised that the natives are pretty strong in this playthrough, but it presents an opportunity for me. Of course, it'll be a hassle too, as we said. If we want to invade America through there, the attrition would be terrible, and sending one army at a time is a pain. As I said, if we want to fight them right now, I think we'll be having a hard time for it, so I think it'll be easier to fight against other countries that are being weakened, especially by this, so an opportunity has presented itself. So I think that settles it then. Croatian colonization, 1700s. Dominate trade power in some trade nodes. And say too that if we can establish a presence in the Caribbean, we'll try to dominate that trade there, which it's Haiti that has the most trade power. Haiti, which is an independent nation, a pirate kingdom as well, but allied to England, so no go. Don't invade Haiti. Unless we can maybe get along there. Find new potential friends. Leave the old world. Go into the new and make new friends. Who knows? It's just an idea. Right? And then once you're there, you go up to America, and of course you can't form trade companies there, but controlling these, except for the south, then we may stand a chance, because we've taken trade ideas. And due to, in the future, when we take expansion ideas, because by the end of it, you have more global trade power. Okay, you've wasted enough time on the introductionary. Let's get to work. Each time we assign a Croatian Trade Company, it adds more trade power and all that, and institutions spread. Only doing it for the sugar areas. And since we are trying to fabricate claims, and I did send a merchant to Tunis, but I'm thinking about doing this unusual thing. Hostile trading. Because it makes spy network construction go up faster. And it affects the following countries, as you can see down there, including Tunis. And Tunis, that truce will expire in 5 years, so we better get to work on fabricating a few provinces before declaring another imperialism war. While at the same time, we may start an imperialist war over in West Africa. We're not sending colonies, we're just simply, let's go to West Africa, get another trade company, make our fortune there, and then we head to the New World. As settled. There. That means we'll be making less money, I think. No. Without maximizing it, the trade node power goes down a bit. Okay. 1.46 each month. Alright. Now. You get... Yes, the trade company investments. We'll worry about the institution later. We've already built it on the same areas, and all 3 areas is what they mean. They mean by areas. And since we built 2 more... Oh no, you assigned 2 more provinces that has sugar. The sugar provinces, I should say. Local tax modifier doesn't hurt, but development cost seems always good. But what I care more is production efficiency. In fact, you haven't done them all. So trade by with the companies become the focus of local production thanks to the expansion of the brokers exchange. Production area booms as our willingness to purchase local goods is almost boundless. So here, here, and here. Therefore you increase the income via production of it. Not concerned about governance, because our manpower and sailors are fine. You could have used that earlier when you were developing Tunis. But this is for the whole region. And you say you want to make money through trade? We'll increase the trade value. Have a township. The township is a settlement on foreign shores inhabited entirely by natives of our homeland. They generate a great demand for local goods and labor that draw those who trade in such commodities to the area. Not just the area, but the entire region of the Maghreb. That will do. But again, you can only choose one for the entire same region. So we build it in the Tunisia area, but for the entire same region, it goes up. And there's those requirements you could see. Oh, and stop building those ships. We split up. One is going to, okay, you're protecting the trade node of Alexandria. You're going to Aleppo. That's for one fleet. And this other one will be going to, let's see. Even though we're sending the trade power to Ragusa. Another one should go up to Venice. Crimea does very little, as the Commonwealth dominates that trade. But that could change in future. Now get out of here. And you mentioned about transports. Since we have this many armies, I think we could have another fleet full of transports. Start with one. When one is complete, then we can get to work on it. So we will finally go. After nearly 30 minutes. After I just explained what is my next goal for the remainder of the upcoming age of revolution. Lorraine is out of the war. I get 78 ducats. Thank you. And I never talked about the plan to expand eastward to fight against Ardabil and Transoxiana. Does the phrase "never start a land war with Asia" mean anything to you? War's over. And we have gained 86 ducats. We got this many favors. Thank you very much. You do have the ducats, but you're at war. And here's the problem with the Mamluks. That's why I thought about, what if I fight against the Mamluks to dominate the Alexandrian trade? Well, manpower is one thing. But They're fighting against the Ottomans. No guy. At Kunulu. At Kunulu. That's our ally. We used to fight together, but now they're fighting each other. And that kind of makes me slightly mad, but I think I've already accepted the fact that we will remain allies forever, which we needed as a deterrent against Spain, when we will expand to there and eventually to the New World, almost unopposed from other colonial powers. Because we are on a quest in a search for more money. More money. And we make a very good amount, but I would like to make a little more. We still dominate the Tunis trade node, while increasing the value of the trade node value slightly. Another reason why fight against Tunis? Look, spices. The spice trade. And don't forget a few slaves too. In fact, there's already trade stations built there. And a bit of ivory too. Anyways, it's election time. Listen, I like you because of the tolerant part. But, quite honestly, I could, we never had max Republican tradition before, so let's elect another bureaucrat instead. Mutimir Kacic. I doubt there's any relation with Slavic Kacic. So, we'll elect this new man. How old is he? 42. Okay. We'll know the personality in a second. He's calm. Stability cost modifier. If we ever had a chance of lower stability, we'll build it back up again. Now, excuse me for a moment. God dang it, Lord Master. I was spelling something. Now, until it claims fabricated and all that. So, yeah. Not only expanded Africa, but also entered a new world through conquest. Not by settlement, but through war. Even if we have to fight against those pirate kingdoms. Except for the one that's allied with the English. In which I viewed English as a somewhat of a neutral thing. Like off and on allies. We never fired at them in anger. But we kinda, well, use them as a deterrent in case there's a coalition formed against me. And plus, that is the final reason why I plan on expanding into Africa and possibly into the New World. It's because if we try to expand further in Western Europe, there's going to be a coalition against me, and I am scared of it. So out of fear, that's why we decided to go south. Merchant shipwrecked. A merchant's been lost at sea while trading with in a coastal trade node, taking all his goods in the bottom of the sea. That's too bad. But these are acceptable losses as far as money is concerned. A little bit of tax modifier is good. And all that. But I don't think we need to invest any further until we get down there. Where the spices is. Spain obviously owns one. But I'd like to have my share. But I'll tell you what else I'm going to invest in the future. The country needs more workshops. We have a bunch of manufactories, which is fine. But the problem is, there's not enough workshops to go along with it. I mean, yes, some of them are built, but there are some areas that just cannot be constructed. As we are upgrading all of our fortresses, fortifications to star forts, just to have a standard. Because we'll be entering into a new age, and all that. And plus, another reason for that. Some of the areas throughout the Balkans is still poorly developed. Will never be at the level of India's in terms of overall development, just like with the Mughals. Son of a beeswax, they stole my idea. You know what that means? Florida. They're going up there, using Bermuda as a jumping off point to head to there. Blast. Britain, you're screwed. As well as the French from the north coming down from there as well. Crud. I mean, Africa is still open, and so is the Caribbean, but... well, some natives of America, well... I don't know how long they're going to be around, or if they still have what I would desire the most. Again, here, here, and here. Right. For more governing capacity, which is badly needed. And you get to have counting houses, an upgraded version of a workshop. Now we are ahead of time. So level 25 and then eventually 26, so it's still kind of far away from a new idea. Give me 20 more. That's for an army that's 20,000 strong and all that. Unless you want to link up with the fleet. So pretty much my idea's gone to hell on the American expansion. Expansion to America. In fact, wonder what the Croatian name would be. Like if you were to colonize Manhattan, I mean obviously English call it New York. The Dutch called it New Amsterdam. If there was a hypothetical Croatian Manhattan, I think its name would be called Novo Dubrovnik. New Dubrovnik. New Ragusa. You know, all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm willing to invest in workshops as soon as these star forts are finished. No. Forget about the workshop. You mentioned about lowly developed provinces. The universities. Build them. Universities, which you should use that to develop the country a little more when the time is right. And you get another building slot, and then you build the workshops, and later upgrade them into counting houses. Unless there are already workshops built. Okay, star forts are finished, and the income is still fine. Basically, any area that doesn't have room, build a university. That's for development cost reduction. It baffles me that this area doesn't have a manufacturer. In fact, Herrgott. I mean, You got these clothes. Does it have a manufacturer? Textile? Yes. Belgrade has it? Yeah. Same for here. Turnovo? No. Because that's where we make a good portion of the income from. And you have a textile manufacturer, but no workshop. No workshop. Man, you are slacking behind in all of this. So I think you better get to work. So counting houses it is. Especially here in the capital. You've developed it fine, but you ain't got nothing. So workshops first before upgrading them further. Gives you pretty nice income. As you could see, the production income and all that. This one doesn't make it very much because it's lowly developed, but still doing it. Dang, we just didn't spend it all. How about that? Oh, and just a second. Workshop's already built, but not enough to upgrade them into a counting house, which I'm willing to do that as well. We're trying to increase Croatia's economy. That's my main priority. Trying to make money by any means. Trade, production, taxation, all that. Now upgrade that. And that's it. Start saving up money. Don't spend it anymore. Are you done with your war? Not yet. Because I need the money from you. Unless I have to get the money from the Commonwealth. They don't have that kind of money. But come September. And plus there's not much of the Ottomans left. And I fear that the Mamluks are going to take a big chunk of land out of Akunulu. Such good friends they are. The Mamluks are no longer considered a great power. Well, that may change. Hey, you got the money? Huh? Come on, one more month. Give me that wealth. Because I need to spend it on a couple of things. Oh, what is this? Slow it down. Our neighbors have established a large colonial presence in the New World. The exports from this distant land have been steadily increasing, and some of the exotic goods have become very popular, even amongst those who should know better than to be dazzled by curiosities. Recently, our neighbors have gone further, openly feeling the... Oh, yeah. Openly feeling this interest, encouraging people to buy American. They are pushing for more imports from the colonies, outcompeting our own goods and depriving good Croatian people of work. We might get something out of this influx of foreign trade, but the safest option would be to erect barriers to reduce it. We don't see each other eye to eye between us and Spain, as we're considered enemies, so I will say nothing of decent quality could come from these backwater upstarts. Our current mercantilism level is 22, so we're barely in a league with the merchant republics on default. But hey, it helps with the burghers' loyalty and the provincial trade power modifier, and we don't have colonies of our own, so we will keep encouraging mercantilism. Not spending this, but with this. Now you got +3, all in one day. And now you're at 25%, which is the default percentage every time you start playing as a merchant republic. Hey, you got the money? Only 18. There we go. Gimme, gimme. Greedy bastards we are. What to invest? Besides, you know, building transports, and we will merge it with this fleet in order to start sending armies over there. Morocco. That's a big problem. It's not because they heard of our attentions. That's because they've been improving relations. Oh, don't forget, fabricate claims. That's one. But remember, you got 4 years till you fight against Tunis. Defeating Morocco, which means we would have to fight inland first. Based on a number of soldiers they have, I believe we can beat them with just 2 armies. And then we will send an expeditionary force, 2 armies, towards down there as a beginning of a jumping off point to, you know, what I'm plotting for. But it looks like the French and the Spanish are gonna carve up what's gonna be left of them. Obviously there's not much of the Ottomans left, which is basically a rump state at this point. Just unity is fine. You know, since there's no... What else am I supposed to invest? What else am I supposed to invest? God blast it. I had something else in mind besides workshops, textile manufacturers, universities! Just remembered. Universities! And don't forget that... Well, what do you mean you don't forget, Lord Master? You forget a lot of things. Counting houses. Anything that's upgradable, spend it. Helps with the production income. Yeah, that's what you wanted to invest on. Switzerland. They tell us a selective breeding. Slow down so I can read. Through the scientific and very aggressive breeding of horses, pigs, cows, and sheep, Swiss farmers have begun to create entirely new types of animals. More specialized for various tasks they ought to perform. For centuries, various regions have had famous breeds of livestock, but with the new methods now being pioneered, it has become evident how easy it is for man to create specific improvements in the animals. As a result, the cattle trade is being revitalized, with a drastic increase in the quality of sold animals rather than just the quantity of animals sold. So, hey, price of livestock and wool goes up. We have plenty of that here in Croatia, and more so to be coming. Few of our members of our parliament are of the opinion that Mutamir Katic has been taking a few too many liberties lately when it comes to governing our nation. Some are even claiming that Mutamir seems to lack any respect whatsoever for both the constitution and the rest of the parliament. Oh, I'll take that prestige hit. They are exaggerating, I say. If we want to get more prestige, well, that's what war is for. Yeah, we are really jumping up on the production income big time. Just a couple more ships, and once it's all complete, merge in with this fleet, and then you got your armies to be ready to be sent down there. And oh, now it's peasant revolts, keeping themselves weak, but the real bulk of the fighting is going to come from Morocco, which will definitely put them down. And that's how the war is going to behave. We're just going to march through Spanish lands and fight against the Moroccans all the way down until they peace out. We want no land from them, but we do want land from this, if it allows. Despite the, you know, pretty off distance and all that. Well, I'm definitely afraid of what the Spanish is going to do to them. But as long as they do not take Manhattan, that's the area I desire the most for a possible Croatian America, in addition of the expansion of Croatian Africa. All we care about is protecting our trade, wherever it may be, and dominate the said trade nodes, and all that. You embraced Enlightenment. And so did Venice. When's our turn? Oh, it's present in some areas, but this is how much it's gonna cost if you choose not to spend at all. But I think it'll be wise to try to spread it a little bit further. So for now, is it present in Dubrovnik yet? Yes. So it needs to spread a bit further. We're gonna get our trade power down a little, but it'll be worth it. And don't forget Thrace as well. What about here? Not present. But it is present in Albania. And coming soon, Athens. You know what? Put that there as well. Any areas that has center of trade will bid it back up. Worry about that later. Alright, send it. So the total will be 50 ships, so we could definitely take on 2 armies that we can transport. Over in Tuscany, lending libraries and book clubs. With literacy on the rise, the spread and dissemination of books has become an objective for both economical and ideological reasons. Booksellers have become much more common sight in many cities in general, and at large ones such as Pisa, where there's entire shop streets lined with boxes of books for sale. For those that cannot afford to buy books themselves, there are now an increasing number of ways to lend or co-finance book purchases, such as paid lending libraries, book buying cooperatives, or subscription societies. So paper will now be produced in Pisa and gets great bookmarker there. And price of paper increases a bit. I don't think we own a province that produces... Oh yes, you do. Some of that, yes. Fabricate another claim. Let me see. Actually, it would be much better. Again, we'll get it out as much out of it as possible. Because that would include lands that'll get us towards an open, uncolonized part of the North African desert. For future reference. Keep that well in mind. I'm gonna need 2 armies to come over here. Because march into there, not gonna do. So this is how it's gonna go, even though they'll never let us have access because we're enemies at this point. And what else? In fact, we can't really traverse, but naval invasion there and try to control it ourselves since we have the sea. But I don't know if they'll let us core it. If it does, I'd be very surprised. Scottish Venezuela? Well, there's Scotland itself. Oh, it's still up there. That's why the United Kingdom hasn't been formed yet. They haven't captured all of Scotland and Ireland yet. Occupied by Spain. This is what I was worried about. And all that too. What does Portugal think of us? They're fine. Except the Commonwealth part. And the Mamluks, so... I would say the relation's more to me. Oh, it's time for a new... Plus, there goes our merchant. Which we're not getting trade from... Where? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Trade efficiency means more money, but I'd rather keep it with the Charter Trade Company. Athena, Azov, just only these two, okay. So grant a bit of that local autonomy there, I'm willing. Bribe them, because I got the money. Eek. Okay, pay the Republican traditions here and there. But it's 50%. How much of the crowns I actually hold? Oh, you're fine. You should give it away. You're fine. Allow use of crownland, so that's how much of that changes. And see, it was a very small fraction. What the hell are you worried about? And I guess I have to spend some administrative power out of this. One from military. One more. There, now stop messing with it. We'll increase it whenever is necessary. Now, what was the another part of the plan? Oh yes, head to Dubrovnik. Wait, you already got your 2 armies here. Send in the best. Here, you gotta first make a stop here. Get out of the way. Improvements in government technology. Hey, all that administrative power you just spent? Well, here's some gains, just to make it up for it, while having a tiny bit of inflation. Don't merge it. We're taking you two over here to Tunis. This is just a bit of a stopping off point. Because I think I am far more willing to go to invade there. Because they are defenseless. Promising general. Our policy of battlefield commissions has been very successful. A new general has emerged. Well, he shows promise. Gained a general with 50 tradition. Sviatoslav Horvat. 2 fire, 2 shock, 4 maneuver, 2 siege. Are we leading this army? I would be drilling them further, but I can't guarantee it. Knowledge sharing from Genoa, just to get this institution up faster. You got it. That means we have to be paying them. But our income is fine, after we've built a bunch of workshops and counting houses and all that. Trade company investments even. But as soon as their morale's up, we'll be ready soon. Just wait a couple. Clergy political struggle. Loyalty and influence. No, do not meddle in the affairs of the clergy, so they'll have a little more influence. Just fine by me. God blast it. In fact, before you even start a war, you need to appoint new generals. Oh God, how much did Spain took? I mean, I could see all this and some to France. French Canada. Spain. Pillaged by Spain. Mind if I have a look? Oh dear. Florida. Too close to Manhattan, so we are deprived of this in the future, as I had planned, so that means they can colonize. Doors open. But Manhattan's still there. Massachusetts still there. Areas that I would like to have for myself. That I could see in the future. As stated before, West Indies is at war with Haiti. The battle of who's the more dominant pirate kingdom. But it's a reconquest war. But again, my eye is still on this. While we will continue to fabricate claims of Tunis. So let's wait a few more months, or so. So the knowledge sharing cost is 28. Obviously we don't make as much as we used to. But it's a start. Florida. Again, if I had my druthers to fight against you, we do not have the manpower to take everybody on. Even Genoa and Tuscany would side with them. So you can't do that. Because we're friends with both. So Spain is not to be touched at all unless I were to tell one of them, and you can only tell one of them, to break an alliance with Spain. And of course Spain would be very angry. And don't fight against me anyhow. Because you know that's how it works. Yeah, it's spreading, but with the help of Tuscany, spread it much further. At least it started it closer to Croatia. All but 2 institutions. As long as it could reduce the cost. Where? Oh. Expanding more of the French Canada colony. Just an interesting thought. Declared war against Comanche. Through this way, they're going into the Mississippi River. They are not stopping. You are expanding aggressively. Don't you feel like you're antagonizing your friends and all that with your aggressive expansion? But they'll say no. Just another thing for future reference. Yeah. Just one more. Stop here. Alright. Get me new generals. For all 4 armies. We already have 1, but we can afford 3 more. It costs you 22 each time. There. You'll be assigned to this one. And, you're the siege guys. So you're with this one. And lastly, for that, thank goodness we have high army professionalism. And we could drill all our armies again. But please, save your military power for, you know, it'll take you years, but there are ways, such as, you know, giving this man more promotion, unless we find someone talented, but unfortunately we lack of such talent. But anyways, both fleets follow. We're going down this way. So we've launched it from there. Meanwhile, get to position. Because we're about to start this thing. This imperialist Casus Belli, which we're using that as an excuse. And you see we're taking that attrition right now. Toma Pejachevich, controversial protectionist. Since Toma Pejachevich started providing advice for the trade developments in Croatia, Internal trade has been strengthened at the cost of curtailed imports and increased state regulation. While their decisions to improve infrastructure have been appreciated, recent suggestions have caused many influential people to question their philosophy. They argued that the great prince is taking Tomas Payachevich's advice too readily, that we should look for mutually beneficial deals with other nations rather than seeking to dominate every area of trade. Hey, his thinking has helped us so far. We've been encouraging more mercantilism. It's our name of the game. It's only taking very little damage from the on that. It's part of that base value, and thanks to the copper bottoms, because of the quality ideas. Without it, I don't know what we would be doing. Much further up. More trade power for Hrvatska. Alright, we have arrived here. Take wool. Which that capital is inland. But it has something that I want. Get a foothold here. How long are you gonna be there? Till by the end of near the end of December. Morocco's got no coast, so we'll remain in position until there's a conditional access from Spain. Unless we ask them. Okay, now we can go. Let's move out. But beware, there's a lot of these guys, so stick together. Offensive and defensive. But it's possible that they may send their troops on their way down here, and it's going to give us a bit of a hard time to try to establish a foothold here. But fortunately, there's no forts. So we can't win this war unless we knock Morocco out. And when the said foothold is established, we will repair these ships a bit. Palatinate. This is our fellow Catholic nation. Unfortunately, so Palatinate. Who are you at war with exactly? Ingolstadt and Würzburg. But Bohemia has not come, has it? No. Well, crud. That means we ought to create another army then. But don't worry. Austria, Lip, Mulhouse, Nuremberg, and Ulm with you. It's just Ingolstadt, which is near us, and Würzburg also there. Not opposed to this idea of creating a brand new army. Established a foothold here. Let's move out. Alright, to you. There's only 4 provinces. Got him. Don't even need to see the results of the battle. It's pretty much textbook. It's fort, it's mountains and all that. There they are. Moving to Fez. Can only go that way. Okay. Trying to think of a composition. A little more infantry than cavalry. Fine down strong. No artillery. Yet. Just need someone to protect our home. Sunk him. Don't worry about it. Fighting against Milan. Alright, their war is over. Hey! Let us in. Obvious is obvious. Yeah, they got nothing now. Unless there's a peasant revolt and they'll be hell to pay. But as you are building that army, I think you may want to get back over there. Boy, there's a lot of them here. I think you should breach that wall. So it'll be easier. So we can start fighting against them. See, they're already in that doorstep. I know I'm not supposed to spend more military power, but this is what me is for. I'll leave this one. Come to me. Get down there. Boy, I'm asking myself to get killed. But fortunately it's Highlands. We do have the defensive advantage before reinforcements arrive. It's a race against time, you know? Where the hell are these transports? Oh, there they are. Alright, they got this handled. We need to defend our place of interest. Get in. Fast. Damn, this fort won't fall. Disease outbreak. Anyways, move up. What are you slowing down for? They're still far away from here. Just launch them. You're in my yard. Good. I doubt that there's going to be any attempts to come to our territory. But we'll remain here for a while. These guys can handle it. The nobility and the businessmen in the realm decided to reward our good governance of recent years by donating cash to the treasury, some out of pure patriotism, others in exchange for honorary titles and positions. How much? Put it in the treasury. We'll get the prestige after we win this war. President Athens and Rijeka too. Well, not the rest yet. Although we will have the cost to embrace it very soon. Of course, that'll be after the war. I think I'll start this out. Reparations. Wait, what about territory? Are you saying I can't take territory? Yes, I can, but obviously they would want a little more than that. As in, knock these two out of the war. I honestly forgot about those guys, but I mean, they are in a position to send an army over. Because they can go through Mali and all that. Gee, I honestly totally forgot about them, but Morocco first. Maybe perhaps you're going to be the one to go down. Take them out. We'll handle this from here. Didn't even get a good look at the development. I am definitely going to pillage their land. Don't forget to fabricate that. And coming soon. Hold your position. Step back a bit. It's what I mean. Head to there. Death of a merchant. The state needs the money. Which means that we do have enough money to embrace this institution right now, but no, wait till after the war. Great, this again. See him acquitted. Every little bit of power is good power. Well, what do you know? Morocco wants out. Yeah, you just wait. Finish the job first. Those sneaky sons of beeswaxes. Retake that position and stay there. Hey, get up here. You're the guy with the siege skill. Actually, some of them are out of the war. But not for long. Until that last fort is fallen, we will. There. Now, I don't want any land from Morocco because it's rather disconnected here. So, yes, it will be pillaged. Reparations. All the money that you got. That's what I want. Every money is good money. Protect the interest. Who else is not moving? You. Withdraw back. The country might need you at the moment. Not now. How developed is this territory? Not so much. That makes Zagreb 46 development. And that area not so well developed, but it's not the point. We're not making it a state down there. I want to get back to Tunis. Yep, the Florida colony is expanding more and more this way. The bigger Florida gets. My last visit to Komodo was vastly more enjoyable than dinner with the Croatian ambassador. Oh, don't even start. You're the member of the HRE. Declaring the war on you means I'd be fighting against two Sicilies again. Austria and all that. And the members of their trade league. Don't get me started. That's the reason why we are sending them back. Hey, get out of here. I said the country needs you. That war with Tunis will happen in the next episode. They done killed themselves. Oh, they'll be out of the war soon enough. Simply for the sake of it. Even though it'll be ending in 710. No, 1710, excuse me. Oh boy, an Austrian Pope. Took out another one of their army. Given its great influence over the politics of our country, it would be easy to assume that all the MPs attended parliamentary sessions with great enthusiasm, eager to do most of the power have been trusted with. This is, however, far from the case in any given suburb. There will be some that never show up, either because they're still enjoying their estates in the countryside or because they decide to partake in the many joys of the capital. The problem has grown more and more lately as we fear foreign dignitaries are laughing at us behind our backs. There are a number of measures that might be taken to increase attendance, but none that the current MPs would take very kindly to. Oh, crud. I'll say there's nothing we can do. For now. Of course they would. They want more imperial authority. Because, as I recall, Austria is the HRE emperor. Still on the way back. We got him. You'll be heading to this new territory. Soon to be new Croatian territory. Not state. Key word. Okay. Boneman, what do you got? Pillage as well. For tiny bit of aggressive expansion with 7 countries down there. Including Portugal, maybe? Well, how much exactly is that? 2 development, we only gain 1. That's not worth it! No. No pillage. By the way, what trade node are you part of? Part of Ivory Coast a bit. Maybe transfer the trade power. Yeah, transfer the trade power. I know it's not going to go to me, but very soon we will have this part of the trade node, and we will have that. And we will establish a foothold and eventually fight against Mali. We're using that as a springboard towards the Caribbean. Towards West Indies. A pirate kingdom. And use that as a springboard to Manhattan if it has not fallen to Florida. That is my ultimate plan. Wait, 1 day? Okay. Now these territories, that you'll be fully annexed. What little money you got left? It'll cost me nothing because it's an imperialist war. And this will cost this much, which is affordable. You got it. Coastal areas have to be caught first. And subsequently we'll have a new trade company. It's an Ivory... the Guinea Charter. The Croatian Guinea Trading Company? Is that what it's going to be called? Anyways, its main trade good is mainly slaves. It's part of that old Atlantic slave trade. But still, the trade value is there. Development is not there, but it's got a church. Trade depot thanks to this. Trade power here. It's got a trade station, it's got a workshop. It's got a trade station, it's got a workshop. Up here, only a church. But we will only keep 1 army there, and we'll bring the rest around in a bit. In fact, come over here. So it's called Croatian Jollof. That's what this area is called. Not a colony, bear in mind. Not a colony. No matter what it says on paper. What have we got ourselves into? That's the real question and the moral of the story. And in the next episode, so we'll have to stop that here, we will embrace Enlightenment. And then this is the beginning of well, Croatian, well, it's not exactly colonization, but we're taking other people's colonies, or what used to be colonies, before going into the new world, or what's left of it. That's what they tell you. See the world, or what's left of it. But now it's see the new world, or what's left of it. Even if we have to possibly take tiny areas like here as a jumping off point to God knows where. But if they care about liberty desire, maybe we can help them. Whenever Florida gets too antsy, then maybe I can help them. May never know. May never know what our plans are, or what it's going to be. But, however, problem. Barbarians at the gates. I failed to realize that until now. Hey! Stop right there. Well, you guys are going to be stuck in Africa for a while. You're going to be stuck in Jolla for a while. But as long as you keep the separatism down, good. So we hope you people enjoyed this episode. This is a new era for Croatia, obviously. And in that, also in that next episode, the Age of Revolutions will begin. And we don't know where the first revolution is going to spring off from. Looking at you, France. But until then, so long for now.